Welcome back to the Roll for Crit News Roundup. For those in the US, I hope you had a fun, long weekend, but now it's time to find out what's been happening on the tabletops when it comes to board gaming and RPGs. So let's get right to it for the week of May 27th, 2024. So our first story is returning to a classic, and that's Asmodee and the Embracer Group. Now, we've talked many times about them, about how they're splitting up the company, the debt that's been going on, and many of these times I have to talk about how, admittedly, I don't have a degree or even general knowledge when it comes to business and finances, so I can't fully explain what's going on. That said, this story definitely feels like one of those where I wish I knew a lot more because I don't know whether this is something that's very par for the course or something we need to actually be really worried about. And the reason for that is we're getting reports that the Embracer Group has written down both Asmodee and Dark Horse, though for this story, we're really going to be focusing on Asmodee. From what I can tell, that basically means they're saying that the company as a whole isn't worth as much as the people might have expected because of what they purchased it for or what it's valued at. And in this case, it seems to be related to what's called the goodwill. When they bought a company like Asmodee, it seems that goodwill is the difference of what they've actually paid versus the physical, tangible value of the assets of the company. So in this case, what they're saying is when they bought Asmodee for around $3.1 billion, it was actually worth a little bit less that from the asset values, meaning that the difference, the goodwill value, was around $630 million, about 20% of what they actually paid. Now, like I said, I don't know how much this means. They were quoted on saying that these changes and this write-down was because of macroeconomic headwinds and rising interest rates, combined with prudent future expectations, which to me sounds like a bunch of SEO, just gibberish and just throwing out words there that doesn't really give me a clear definition. But maybe for those who know a bit more, maybe this is actually a very clear and obvious explanation to what is going on. Either way, once again, I don't know whether this write-down is just normal accounting stuff or signs that we need to be happy or worried about because we've already talked about how the Embrace Group is splitting into three, how Asmodee is going to be shouldering a huge amount of debt for them. And once again, I'm just becoming more pessimistic every time I hear about Asmodee in the news. But they've still been doing well. Their Star Wars card game was selling very well, and their other games were also selling well, so much so Asmodee avoided a lot of the big cuts that they had to make early on in the year after we found out about the huge debt that they had. Either way, let me know if you know more about this and if you think this is any signs you need to worry about or just par for the course business tactics. A few weeks ago, we talked about the card game Wonders of the First, a Kickstarter project for a new TCG that was really focusing on trying to keep the value of cards, but was canceled because it had NFT elements added to it, and Kickstarter didn't seem to like that, but only caught it after a few days from the launch of the Kickstarter. Now, during that reporting, we talked about whether they weren't sure if they're going to release it or again on Kickstarter or whether they're going to do it on their own site. It does seem they re-released on Kickstarter as it's currently funded there with a few more days to go last I checked. However, it seems there was a push from the Discord to increase the rating for this game on BoardGameGeek, which in turn triggered rating manipulation from the moderators, which caused them to delete a bunch of the ratings and sounds like also ban a couple of the accounts, probably ones that were newly made, just to put a rating for this game. Now, this, of course, put the two groups at odds with each other, which probably isn't anything new. The fact that they have a rating manipulation response from BoardGameGeek probably means they've dealt with this before for other games, probably crowdfunding ones. But the reason we're even talking about here is it seems that the fans of Warner the First have gotten the phone number for the owner of BoardGameGeek and have been harassing him, constantly calling, saying, hey, reinstate our accounts or return the ratings. And obviously, this falls under harassment. It's not the right way to deal with any problems you have. Like I said, I don't think this is a new topic for BoardGameGeek, so I'm sure there is a correct way to deal with whether getting your ratings back, your account unbanned, whatever's going on. I will say I'm getting most of this from a BoardGameGeek thread, which does show images from the Discord saying how, like, hey, let's put a lot of ratings there, as well as let's call the founder. So not great things to do. I haven't been to the Discord. However, I did check out the Kickstarter page and I didn't really see an update from the founders. So to my knowledge, at the very least, I don't know if they're involved in this, but it would be nice if maybe there was a public update on the Kickstarter page saying, hey guys, thanks for all the love, but maybe don't harass the people working at BoardGameGeek. You can still leave a rating for us, but maybe make sure that it's not just a number. You can also rate some other games because that way people can compare, contrast, and makes the reviews feel a bit more organic rather than simply leaving a 9 or a 10. Either way, we'll see what happens here. But once again, if you ever have issues when it comes to, well, probably anywhere, probably calling and harassing the people who work there, not the best look. Finally, we're going to talk about the winners of the Diane Jones Award. This was started back in 2001 and awarded to those who show a quality of excellence when it comes to tabletop gaming. Now, we have 4 winners here. First, we have Quinn Brander, who's worked on both board and video games, has worked on the game Rebuilding Seattle, and currently is helping with Marvel's Contest of Champions, as well as designing Rebuilding Chicago. Then we have Taylor Navarro, who seems to be a master when it comes to the tabletop RPGs. They've been helping with Dungeons & Dragons since 2021, as well as being the producer for Tales of Sina Una. They also worked on so many other things, be it adding supplements, magical items, designing. So if you're looking for something RPG related, Taylor seems to be the person to go to. Then for our third winner, we've got Clarence Thompson, who not only co-designed The Wolves, but designed plenty of other games, including Message from the Stars and Merchants of Magic. They also have an unpublished game titled Shaking the Tree, which has won HABA's US Design Contest Award, as well as being a runner-up for the Cardboard Edison Awards. Finally, though, we are going to Basil Wright, who seems to really enjoy working on strange and unique games, as you can tell from the titles of the games he's worked on, including Pelagos, Your Naked Run, and You Cannot Pet the Cat. Congratulations to all 4 winners. Definitely check them out. And if you're curious to learn more, and maybe if you're at Gen Con, you'll probably have a chance to see them there, as part of this award was them winning an all-paid expense trip to Gen Con. So a great way to learn and meet about some new cool game designers. All right, though, let's get on to game announcements. First, we have founders of Ravik. This comes from Richard Garfield as well as GMT Games. This is all about reading and mastering the economy of a newly settled planet, which you can probably guess the name of. This can be pre-ordered right now. Next, though, we have an updated version of Nexus Ops. This will be coming from Renegade Game Studios and should be available August this year, though I don't know if that means it'll also be available this Gen Con, which is literally at the start of August. Then we have Cook Islands. This is coming from the designer of Carcassonne. It's all about laying down tiles and discovering islands in the Pacific Ocean. You can try this one out this year at Essen Spiel. Then we've got a fun one. This is Dungeon Meister, The Deck of Many Drinks. It's an RPG cocktail recipe book that will add drinks with 5e in-game effects to any of your games. You can pick this one up May 28th. Then this is an interesting, we have a new edition of Coup. This one's actually specifically for the Philippines. Coup Philippine Edition is a reskin to fit, I'm really sorry, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, Nolime Tangere, which is a popular story from the Philippines. Now, it's available now, but it's a bit harder currently to get, or at least import over to the US. I don't know about other regions, so maybe keep an eye out if this one sounds interesting to you. Then we have a few expansions and teasers to talk about. First, if you've been enjoying the X-Men cartoon, we've got another X-Men related pack for Marvel Champions, this one featuring everyone's beloved teleporter, Nightcrawler. You can pick that up September 20th. Then we've got a new expansion for Radlands, this one titled Radlands Culture of Chrome, and you can pick this up or try it out this Gen Con. Finally, we have a teaser for King of Tokyo. We only know an image, though there is a rumor this may be a 2-player variant of the beloved game. But that is all the news we have this week. Let me know your thoughts on any of these stories or any of the announcements. Are you getting super excited for what's going to be available at Gen Con or any of the other conventions? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week on the News Roundup.